Alrighty, welcome to another episode of the College Baseball Show with Just Baseball Media. I'm Jared. We got Mark. We got Will. Got the whole crew here. We're getting in the holiday spirit for a little 12 days of college baseball Christmas. But before we get into that, be sure to like, subscribe, whatever you need to do on whatever platform you listen on, and make sure you're getting all the latest episodes from us at On the Clock College Baseball Show. We got tons of content coming your way. Guys, how are you doing? How ready for the holiday season? Ready to get into some college baseball Christmas?
Yeah, can't wait, man. This is gonna be a fun show. I know a lot of stuff's going on in hearts and thoughts with everybody that's going through any of those tragedies that we've seen, whether race, religion, or any type of being, any type of celebration you want to have. You should be safe and free to do those. So just want to give the thoughts out to those families. But we do want to celebrate college baseball today. Still some great things happening, some great things in the United States here.
Yeah, I am fired up for this episode. I think Jared came up with this idea, and I was all about it as soon as he texted it in our group chat. So I've been looking forward to this. I'm geared up for Christmas. I'm geared up for winter. It's -20 and colder here in Wisconsin. So I'm ready to talk some college baseball and stay warm a little bit.
Mark's got the red and green hat. He's in full theme, ready to go. Love it. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna go through 12 days. So we're gonna go day one will be one topic. Day two will be two topics. We pick two things. 1 through 5, we're gonna go through all the selections we made for those categories. But when we get to 6 through 12, there's like 6 for day 6, 7 for day 7. So we're gonna pick like our 2 or 3 favorites on that one. So we're not here for 2.5 hours. I mean, it is holiday time. You could have a long travel. You want to listen to us for 2.5 hours? I know it's fine. But we're gonna kick off with day one, a Golden Spikes favorite in a pear tree. And I mean, you have to go with Rock Chalowski out of UCLA. I feel like who else are you going to go with here?
Yeah, I mean, there's some other choices that we've talked about that are, hey, they're right there. It's got to be Rock. He's, the favorite odds on for 1-1 in the draft. He's coming back after a fantastic season, hitting 23 home runs last year for a UCLA team that made it to Omaha. It's really hard not to highlight this young man and go, all right, shortstops have been really successful at this position in the past, being in this conversation for the award. He puts himself right there, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he plays a premium position and he plays it very well. One of the best defenders in the country. He moves well. He's a big body, and man, can he swing it. Honestly, I think he's got one of the best right-handed swings in the entire country. He's so much fun to watch, and it's hard not to like him, And there were some players last year that we highlighted. I mean, it seemed like Laviolette was going to be a clear-cut Golden Spikes finalist and the winner. Anything can happen, but he's a true 5-tool guy. There's very few holes in his game, so I'm super stoked about it. And obviously, he's the odds-on favorite for a reason.
Yeah, and Tyler talked about it when we did our MLB draft podcast the other day. It was like there hasn't been a consensus 1-1 like this since Adley Rutschman. And so before Adley, there hasn't really been one except like Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, things like that. But I mean, Rock, everything he brings to the table, not just the 5 tools, but like the mental makeup. Like this is a guy, when we interviewed him on the clock, just absolutely has it together, has the ability to learn, and like focused on that in the entire interview about how he, like, the first thing he does when he gets somewhere, he's trying to learn what he has to do to make adjustments to adjust to the game and things like that. And so excited to see what he can do for UCLA. We've talked about that UCLA team is going to be absolutely stacked, which we'll get to later in our Omaha locks here, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Moving into day 2, so 2 must-watch weekends, and I put 2 in here. The first one is February 27th through March 1st. I think we're going to have boots on the ground. Will, you and Tyler are actually going to be at this, correct? I believe. It's the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series at Globe Life Field. You got Arizona State, Tennessee, Texas A&M, UCLA, and Virginia Tech. Just absolutely loaded.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited to have boots on the ground there. Super fun stadium to be at as well. So just the location itself, I'd be excited. But I mean, we're looking at 3 potential Omaha teams, maybe 4 potential Omaha teams in this tournament alone. I mean, there's no expectations for Texas A&M this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is the year where they just throw things together and really hit the ground running. But between A&M and Tennessee, I know they're under a new regime, but you have to like their odds to go deep again. And Mississippi State and UCLA, we've pretty much talked as clear locks as you can get for Omaha, which is rare this time of year.
Yeah, and even outside of that tournament, go over to Las Vegas. We got Oregon, UC Irvine, Arizona, and Vanderbilt are playing in a 4 tournament. I mean, that's we got some really good baseball with some postseason drama going on. I love it. I think that we're just going to see a lot of good baseball that weekend. That is like the last weekend too before we start league play. So it's kind of that last chance to say, okay, is my team ready for league play? Are they going to be ready to get into this? Seeing these teams, and it's the last chance for a lot of these guys to see what they got for a weekend rotation. So I think it's great. It's a terrific weekend you picked there.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to the Amagi one too, it's like you're going to get Rock Chalowski. So draft wise, like talent, you're going to get Rock. You're going to get Chris Hokopian, who's basically top 5 draft talent as well. I think we have him at 7, so he's at least top 10. And then you're going to get Tegan Coons out of Tennessee. You're going to get Henry Ford out of Tennessee. You're going to get Landon Mack out of, like, you're going to get all the dudes that are just going to be
from Mississippi State also.
Yep. Yeah. I forgot Mississippi State's there too. You didn't even mention them. And it's like you got James Donnelly, Aiden Teal. It's just like insane what Brian O'Connor has done with that team. So going to be an absolutely just stacked tournament. And not a ton of people go to that Globe Life thing. So you can go there and watch like minor league baseball level talent, or even better, just going at it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Terrific for that early in the season. So I love what college baseball has done with these early season tournaments. It's really promoted the game and it's brought more fans out. And a lot of fans that are MLB, it's before MLB season, go check these guys out. These guys are going to be on rosters here in a couple of years for you. Look at the guys that have already made it up through last year's draft class and the class before that. I mean, they just keep making it. So it's a good chance to go get an eye on some of these top prospects.
Yep. We're going into day 3 now. We're going into 3 freshman phenoms. So we just had an article drop that looked at the 2026 freshmen to watch. So there are 6 of them, 3 on the pitching side, 3 on the hitting side. We're going to go through the 3 pitchers here. Angel Cervantes out of UCLA, Jack Bauer out of Mississippi State, and then Cam Appenzeller out of Tennessee. All were draft prospects. Cam Appenzeller, I think, was the highest ranked out of all of them I think he was a potential first rounder, wound up not even, like, his number was too high, didn't get drafted. Or he did get drafted, and the Mariners took him in like the 19th round. Yeah. That was basically a safety pick in case they couldn't sign one of their guys up in early. But I know you've talked about Cervantes a lot, Mark. Tell us what we should be expecting from him.
So far in the fall, he's really been a delight. They say, like, he's just been terrific. He's been beating up the zone, which is a tough thing for freshmen. That's one thing they usually have a hard time with, is throwing enough strikes at this level. Throws fastball, great breaking ball right now. He's working on a changeup that if he gets those 3 pitches and starts landing them, look for him to be the Sunday starter. He might even work his way to a Friday starter. Think of a guy like a Dax Whitney from last year that came as a freshman and really jumped right into that weekend rotation. He might be there. Now, he might not get into the weekend just at first because this UCLA team might be consensus number 1 across the country, and it'd be crazy to throw a freshman in that weekend rotation, but he's that kind of caliber player. He turned down a fair amount of money to come play at UCLA for 2 years.
Yeah, Pirates fans not happy. We got Jay Staffa, who's on our draft team, and he's a Pirates fan, and that was not a good day for him. But it's a great day for your UCLA fan. Will, talk a little bit about Jack Bauer. I know this is a guy that Mississippi State has to be super excited to get to campus. Touched 102 as a high schooler. Thought that he was going to potentially work his way into the first round as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fastball is dominant. I think he's going to be in the bullpen to start the year. I find it hard to believe that he's going to be in the rotation, much like Cervantes, especially in the SEC. There's probably going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, but I don't think the stuff is the reason why. I think it's just a little bit, he's 18. I take that as you will. And him coming and not basically opting out of the draft was a big shock for me, because when pro teams see that fastball, I mean, they're all over it. So I think he's going to be a huge, huge piece, especially in the back end of the bullpen. I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of bump him back there and he thrives in a high leverage spot all season. But man, is he going to be fun to watch. I saw some fall tape on him as well. He looks sharp. The stuff is there. And obviously he's got arguably one of the best fastballs in the country without having thrown a pitch in a regular season game yet.
Yeah. Bauer's awesome. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, I also love that he gave a tip of the hat wearing number 24 for the show 24, getting Jack Bauer on the line. Just tremendous. I mean, he seems like a great kid. The fact that he forego the draft and said, no, I'm going to Mississippi State, tells you everything you need to know about what Mississippi State's going to be this year.
Yep. Last guy I'll talk about is Cam Appenzeller. This is a dude that I was actually hoping the Royals would draft in potentially the first round because he was kind of fitting in that range. The Royals were picking at the back end of the draft. They had a lot of money to spend. I was like, oh, if they're going to get a prep lefty, kind of like they did last year with David Shields, they could go Cam Appenzeller because this guy is 35th on our list. If you want to talk about like polished delivery on the mound, like he's like kind of like Cervantes. He basically the delivery is super smooth. He's 6'5", fairly lean. He was upper 80s, low 90s, and can grab mid 90s already as a high schooler. Like I just think about what Tennessee's going to develop that kid into, like as he grows. Like he's doing that as like a 17, 18-year-old, basically. Now he's going to go to Tennessee, where he's just going to be able to develop, get that velocity jump, get stronger. He could be in the rotation for Tennessee this year. This is a team that definitely needed some arms. I know they went out and got Landon Mack. They went out and got a few other guys like Evan Blanco from Virginia, who's now healthy. But the other guys that got like Brady Frederick out of ETSU and Blaine Brown, which is a two-way guy out of Rice. Those guys are more reliever types, I believe. So if you got Landon Mack and Evan Blanco, there's a chance Appenzeller could slip on that Sunday, or he goes into a midweek role. So like he's going to play probably a huge role for these Volunteers, and it's going to be exciting to watch him out there.
Yeah, like you said, Jared, he might be the most polished freshman, like just ready to go because everything is kind of already set for him. The motion, everything, he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He kind of knows what's expected of him. Going into freshman year at Tennessee, it's going to be really exciting, especially if he gets opportunities.
Yeah, love it. Day 4, so we're going to move on to sophomores, 4 breakout sophomores. I'm looking at our list here. These guys kind of already broke out as freshmen, but I do love talking about these names. We have Dax Whitney out of Oregon State, Miles Bailey out of Florida State, Tyler Bell out of Kentucky, and Sawyer Strassnyder out of TCU. I think Strassnyder, Bell, and Bailey are all on our top 50 college board for the MLB draft. So, Will, you got to talk about Strassnyder. I know you're the TCU stand here, so we got to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I truly think that there is a shot he ends up being a top 10 player and maybe top 5 in all of the country this year. The tools are really loud. The speed plays, the bat plays, and there aren't a lot of holes. He makes really good swing decisions with a really good approach, and he's going to lead this TCU team that is absolutely loaded with young talent, by the way. We've talked about this team so often and how much young talent they have, and he's just going to be the cornerstone of it. I'm so excited to watch him play more baseball this year. Got to see him live in Arlington last year for the Big 12 tournament and just blew me away in person, more so than I even saw all season on just regular game tape.
Lost Will for a second.
We lost Will?
Yeah. We'll move over to Dax Whitney.
I mean, we already saw him, right? He made it.
We got Will back. We got him back.
Is he back? Ish.
We got him kind of back.
I'll go into Dax Whitney. We'll just go there. So
there he is.
Oh, he's back. You back, Will?
Yeah, I'm back.
We were talking about Sawyer Strassnyder.
Yeah, did I cut out on all of it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's staying on. We're leaving it. It's staying.
That's fine. I've talked about this TCU team in depth with how much young talent they have. Strassnyder is obviously going to be the cornerstone of this offense. I was truly blown away watching him live last year in Arlington at the Big 12 tournament, even more so than watching him on game tape. The tools are loud, the speed plays, the bat plays. He makes really good swing decisions with a good approach. He's very polished for his age. And there's a lot of draft-eligible sophomores that kind of fall into this, but I think he's the most. And truly, at the end of the day, I mean, we might be looking back on this, and he might be a top 5 player in the entire country at the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a guy that I think, not to bring the draft angle in, but he's 12th on our list. He's a guy who I can see easily rising into the top 5 for us. Talk about a 2027, and I think this is he's 2027, right? Draft guy Dax Whitney. We're going to turn it over to you, Mark, because I cut you off like 7 times when we lost Will.
Listen, we get to see him this whole year, and none of it has anything to do with the draft. This kid's going to go out there. We saw him as a freshman, and as soon as we saw him come out that opening weekend in Scottsdale, we're like, how did MLB just not get this kid in the first round? 4 pitches for strikes, can ring it up to 100 miles an hour, doesn't have to because he pitches. Something we just don't see all the time in today's game where guys will actually go out there and learn how to pitch. He's done that. Rich Dorman has got this guy set up to be just a terrific number 1 in the 27 draft. Not out of the question for how good Dax Whitney is. And we get to see him for a sophomore season where he's going to be the Friday night guy. We've seen a ton of Friday night guys for Oregon State go on and have really good success at the MLB level. So I think we're going to see more of that from him this year. And he's got a couple guys behind him that really set him up, so he doesn't have to go out there and put it all on his shoulders. I'm excited for Dax Whitney. I think that as much as we say, okay, maybe he broke out last year, I think he has a better season here in 26.
Yeah, I agree. I'll move over to Tyler Bell from Kentucky. So this is a guy who I was shocked that made it to campus in the first place. I remember Tyler when we were covering the 2024 draft, and we thought that he was definitely signing with the Rays. He was like your prototypical Tampa Bay Rays type guy. But then comes to Kentucky, has an immediate impact as a freshman, double-digit home runs as a rookie in his campaign with the Wildcats. And when we interviewed Min Jones just recently, he just kept talking about like how much this kid is almost taking that leadership role already as a sophomore. Like that's huge. Like to have that personality, to be able to come in as a young kid and kind of take over, it's awesome. Like defensively, he's a shoe-in at shortstop. Like he's definitely a shortstop in the future. The bat, it's starting to get better EVs. He's got a good hit tool. Like this is gonna be a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, and he didn't hit his potential last year, right? He's under 300, but he hit the double-digit home runs.
Yeah.
But the defense just wows you. And he only missed one game all of last season as a freshman in an SEC lineup going after that pitching. To what he did last year is tremendous. I think that he's got such a huge upside in what he can do for Kentucky this year. I mean, if that hit tool comes out, you can see him hitting 350 somewhere in that neighborhood, double-digit home runs again. And the true leadership, like Mingione told us, man, he's just all about this kid. And I think the ceiling is so high for what Tyler Bell could be. So I wanted to put him on this list.
Yep, I love it. Then the last guy is Miles Bailey. This is a man who hits balls to the moon. He had 118 exit velo last year. Tyler caught that on here where the ball looked like it never disappeared into space. It's just insane. Power's nuts. The strikeouts, they're coming with it. Like he strikes out a ton. But in college, man, he's going to hit 20, 30 home runs next year. How many did he hit as a freshman? I can't even remember.
21? 20?
Yeah, he was over 20.
19.
Yeah. 19. But yeah, here's the thing. If he can start in the summer ball and fall, everybody said the same thing. Link said the same thing. He started laying off that changeup that's low. He really had a hard time with breaking balls in the dirt and out of the zone. If he can just swing at stuff that's in the zone, if he hits 300, that's a 30 home run guy waiting to happen. He might get 100 RBIs with how good this Florida State lineup could be. He's tremendous. And he, like you said, the raw power grades 70, maybe even a touch higher than that at the college level.
It's like an 80 grade power. It's insane.
Yeah, it is nuts.
It's crazy. And we'll just see what it turns out to be. But, I mean, he's a big kid, and I think that if he takes off, he's another one that just could really help his draft stock.
The fact that he's doing that stuff as a high schooler, too, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of that. He's going to take a kid's head off. In high school, that not everybody's throwing 90. You're going to face kids who are throwing 75, and he's just hitting it 700 feet. Good luck.
That's one of those things you're getting out of math class to some kid throwing 65 and you have Miles Bailey in the box.
Kid just took an algebra test and has to face Miles Bailey. Great. This is super fun. Thanks, guys.
Some kid just wanted to look cool in the yearbook and play on the baseball team, and he's just this is my peak. And Miles Bailey is I'm going to hit this ball 600 feet. Bye.
And surprisingly, an underrated first baseman. He played a really good first base last year. Something that was kind of underrated and went under the radar for him. 6'4", 260 pounds, though. I mean, that's a dude. That's a dude.
He's a pro body. I mean, when you have that build as a freshman, you can't even say he's going to grow into it. It's not even one of those. But he's going to get stronger. Without a doubt, he's going to get stronger. He's going to hit the ball harder. The power is going to keep playing, and it would be silly to say he doesn't have the best raw power in the country.
Yeah,
he's going to be draft eligible at 21. He already played in the Cape this summer.
Yeah,
he's good. He's going to get drafted. It's awesome. We are going into our final one before we hit a break because we actually have, I forgot to mention at the top of this, Will did an awesome interview with Michael DiMartini with the Duke Blue Devils. So we're going to go to that here after we go through our 5 Omaha locks. We got UCLA Bruins, Mississippi State Bulldogs, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, TCU Horned Frogs, and the LSU Tigers. Again, Will, we got to go back to you. TCU, kick us off.
Yeah, I feel like a broken record at this point. I think every episode this offseason has somewhat geared towards TCU being an Omaha team, but it's really hard to lay off of it. It's so hard to not be excited about all of these younger players. You have obviously Strossnider, then you have Noah Franco, who's going to take another step this year. You've got Tommy Lepore on the bump. You've got so many young players that are playing such a big role. And then you have guys like Cole Kramer. Cole Kramer's going to be a fifth-year senior this year. He's going to play that kind of Anthony Silva role. They had nothing but good things to say about Silva in the clubhouse last year. And I think Kramer's kind of just going to slot into that role naturally and really be a clubhouse guy and be that glue guy that every Omaha team has. And he's perfect for it. He hit towards the bottom of the lineup last year, but man, he was so productive at the plate. The numbers in terms of batting average slug don't jump off the page, but a lot of RBIs and a lot of really productive at bats. And that's just what you need when you're making an Omaha run. You need guys that are going to get the ball in play, get runs in, and that's what he does. And obviously at the helm, you've got excellent coaches. You've got a team that I think is going to have a little bit of a chip on the shoulder after not getting a regional host last year and having to go to Corvallis, which I've talked about so many times as well, again, with the broken record. But it's so hard to go play at that location, especially in postseason. And they really just drew a bad straw when it came to that. So I think TCU is going to be back for a vengeance this year. I love them to get to Omaha.
I love it. Mark, we will turn it over to you. Why don't you go UCLA? We'll keep you on the West Coast.
Okay, I'll go UCLA. I mean, I could go UCLA, Georgia Tech. Mississippi State. The only one that was not in my particular list is LSU, so I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that one. But UCLA returns 8 offensive starters to a team that already made it to Omaha last year, has the potential 1-1, and then they added a first-round type draft pick into that rotation and Cervantes. There's no reason to think that this team has anything but the highest expectations, and that's Omaha. I believe that Savage just is going to do a great job. I think that they're going to be the top there in the Big Ten this season. I think that they've set themselves up with a really good schedule. I don't see any way that UCLA doesn't at least get to host a regional and put themselves in the position to have that run at Omaha. But, it's hard. We had 8 new teams last year. Maybe they don't. Maybe some of these teams don't get there, but it's hard to believe that a team that's returning 8 players on offense from a team that made it to Omaha last year and had that kind of run and the 1-1 player, it's hard to think that UCLA does not get back.
And all those guys, like when we interviewed Rocky, talked about it, they all came in together as freshmen. All these dudes.
This was the number 1 recruiting class 2 years ago, and they stayed together.
I use the Kansas City Royals example just because I know, but when they won in 2015, all those dudes came up in the minor leagues together, right? So it's kind of a similar situation where all these guys adjusted to college ball together. They all got to experience Omaha together. They're all driven for the same exact thing. Team chemistry is huge in these days. You don't have a team that just has these guys who get to spend 3 years together and try to win a College World Series. It's nuts. Yeah. Going to move over to Mississippi State because I really want to talk about this team. It's like Brian O'Connor basically merged his former Virginia team with the leftovers of Mississippi State. That includes Ace Reese, which is one of the best players in college baseball. He brings in Aiden Teal. He brings in Thomas Valencius, who was a Sunday starter for Virginia and threw really well. He brings in James Nunnally, who this is a guy who got drafted, who I thought was also going to sign, that he got to campus. Guy just barrels everything. He's just a singles, top of the order, gets on base, steals bags. They are just absolutely loaded this year. They had the number 1 or 2 recruiting class out of the transfer portal. He brought in a ton of freshmen too. And not even thinking about this year, but going into the next year, they have one of the top freshman recruiting classes going into the next year. And we talked about, and Will, I know you talked about this on the last podcast, everybody forgets that Mississippi State just won a College World Series not that long ago. These fans want it. They bring out the biggest crowds in college baseball, as you can see by the stadium that they have. They're absolutely loaded, and it's just going to be insane.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and they just drew 10,000 for the fall game.
Yeah,
I mean those people, they're ready. If you don't think they're ready, they're the fans are ready, the players are ready, the whole program is ready to get back. And again, a post-COVID championship. We're not that far removed from that. There's only been a handful since then, so I think it's just a matter of time before they do.
Yeah. Yep. And Oaks got a little bad taste in his mouth from not getting there last year with Virginia, with the team that he felt was right there along those lines. They had some injury issues. They had some stuff going on. But
disappointed me so much.
Yeah. And now he takes a lot of the best players and says, okay, now we're going to go to what we already have at Mississippi State and go build something huge. I mean, it's going to be great.
You watched that, so I'm not going to get on a Virginia rant, but like the returners that he brought, and like Harrison Didowick apparently forgot how to swing a bat completely, and that guy just hit like 30 bombs a year before, and then he hit like 160 last year. Like, I was so excited about that Virginia team, and I can't wait to see what he does in Mississippi State.
Yeah. I think the team that I'm probably most excited to see play this year is over my other shoulder here in Georgia Tech. Listen, they already had Alex Hernandez and Vaughn Lackey and Drew Burris on this team. And then they go out there and go, oh, you know what? We're going to go get maybe the best other infielder that's in the transfer portal, and Jaron Advincula. We're going to go add him from Cal, who's a guy who can hit double-digit home runs and get us a 300 average. We're not done. We're going to get Ryan Zuckerman, who could have been, ACC Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year last year for Pitt. This guy could hit 20 home runs for them sitting at third base. Like, I am unbelievably undervaluing what Georgia Tech has as a lineup, but it's going to be insane. I can't wait. And Drew Burris is a guy who could work his way into the 1-1 talks.
And they got Tate McKee on the mound. They got like a legit Friday guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I remember when we interviewed Burris, he's like, it's going to be really hard to pitch around me this year. And I was like, yeah, dude. That lineup's loaded.
Yeah.
Hey, you got Advincula at the top, like you mentioned. They got Zuckerman. They got Alex Hernandez, who should have been potentially like a freshman of the year too in the ACC. It's just nuts. Good for them.
I love it. I think that they're fully loaded. It's going to be a tremendous season.
Yeah, I'll jump in on the last one with the LSU Tigers because I threw that in last minute. I will throw this out there as a contingency. I'm always weary when a team loses a guy like Cade Anderson. I talked about it after the 2023 season when you lost Skeens. Obviously, you lost a lot more than Skeens. There was Dylan Cruz. There was Trey Morgan. You lost a lot of pieces from that team. But when you lose a front line starter like that no matter what day it is, you hand them the baseball and you know you're going to go get a win, that is a big, big thing to try and make up over the course of a season. Yeah. However, they brought a lot of pieces in from the portal. Trent Carraway came in from Oregon State. They got Zach York from Grand Canyon. You also return guys like Kason Evans and Stephen Milam. This team is absolutely stacked across the board. And if there's nothing that Jay Johnson does, it's win, right? If nothing else, he's going to win. He's going to find a way to win games. He's going to find a way to compete in the SEC. And as long as they get a favorable draw when regionals come down to it, I don't know if they'll host this year. If they do host, as long as they get a favorable draw, it's really hard to not like their odds to make another run unless they run into, kind of like what Arkansas ran into last year, having to play Tennessee in a super regional. Obviously they got through, but when you get into regional play, it's a little bit tougher because the draw is a little bit random there. But I love this team again. It's really hard not to. The true definition of a dynasty in this sport, it's the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, and a national champion has not returned to Omaha the following season since 2018 Florida did. So it's just hard to do in today's age of baseball because when you win a national championship, you're loaded with talent. You have so many good players. But again, Jay Johnson, he doesn't drop out. He just gets more players. He just plugs and plays and finds guys to play. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're there, but the numbers tell me that it's hard for a national champion to return to Omaha the following season.
Yeah, and I mean, they didn't just lose Cade Anderson, too. They lost Anthony Ianson. So it's like you lose 1-2 punch that basically won you the College World Series against Coastal. Like, they just needed those two dudes. Like, that was all they needed. But, I mean, like, they're going to need a guy like Kason Evans to step up. Like, he posted a 2.05 ERA, 71 strikeouts, and 52 2/3 innings last year, like, as a freshman. And this is another dude who was supposed to potentially get drafted as well. If he can keep that form next year, they got a Friday night guy potentially. They're going to need William Schmidt to step up. This is a guy who was supposed to be like a top 15 pick in the MLB draft, decides to go to LSU. Served kind of more as like a midweek starter type out of the bullpen, just couldn't really find it. But also, like, he's not taking a rotation spot from Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson, so he just wasn't getting the innings that you would expect. So maybe he takes that next role. Then they get Gavin Guidry back from injury. They'll have Zach Cowan, Maverick Rizzi, Cooper Moore, Jaden Newt. They brought in 2 new lefties, Santiago Garcia out of Oregon, Danny Lackenmeyer from the North Dakota State. So, like, as Will mentioned, they did load up. It's just that we don't know what those pieces are going to play this year. And so you got to wait and see what he figures it out. Again, he always tends to figure it out. So potentially having an LSU in Omaha wouldn't be shocked. We're going to go to a quick break here so we can get to that interview with Michael DiMartini out of the Duke Blue Devils. So enjoy the interview.
We are back with another episode of Behind the Seams. I am your host, Will Massa, brought to you by On the Clock and Just Baseball. With us today, we've got a super exciting guest. I'm stoked about this. Love any time that we can get a Duke Blue Devil on the show. We've got former Dayton Flyer, Michael DiMartini. How are we doing, Michael?
How's it going, Will? I'm doing well, man. Happy to be here.
Love to hear it. Let's dive right into it. So you're at your new home with Duke. Coach Moose is new on the scene as well, but talk us through your baseball journey. I mentioned you were at Dayton last year. You were at Penn State prior to that, so you can go back as far as you'd like to, but just walk us through who you are and how baseball plays into that.
Yeah, so I guess I'll fast track some of the early stuff. Started playing baseball from a young age. My dad really got me into the game. He doesn't really have a background in baseball at all, but saw that I took a liking to it and then provided, any help and resources I needed to be really good at. So especially his time and his effort. So he's a big factor in why I'm playing baseball, even though, the furthest I think he played was middle school baseball. And I think that's when he called it quits, and we don't have any baseball players in my family. So, I love the game. Played it my whole life, played a few other sports here and there, but always just kind of took a liking to baseball. Starting in high school, started trying to get recruited. It was my dream and goal to play college baseball. I never really thought I didn't think I was going to be good enough. It was such a distant dream in my head. And then starting kind of my freshman and sophomore year, I had some really great people tell me that, this could really be a reality for you. And that's thanks to some travel baseball coaches and, some good people around me. And, when they started providing me with that kind of encouragement and that kind of, excitement, I really started to put my nose down and work really hard. Got in the weight room really big my freshman year of high school, fell in love with that aspect of the game, and then really kind of took off from there. And I had a decent high school career, nothing to like hang your hat on, was just a decent Pennsylvania high school baseball player. I ended up committing to Penn State my sophomore year of high school, right after my sophomore year of high school. So, and then that's kind of where the story got shaky in terms of my career, and there were a lot of question marks because right before I got to Penn State, the staff that recruited me a month before I was supposed to arrive on campus got wiped out, and that was kind of a really confusing thing for me, and I didn't really have any other choice but to go. And I'm very glad I did. Some weird stuff began to shake out when I got on campus. So ultimately kind of had a tough year at Penn State, though I thought I did really well and did the things I needed to do to get on the field. The staff there didn't, mainly the head coach there, didn't think I was good enough to be a part of that team. So, after not playing, I got told that I wasn't good enough to be on the team, and that I could stay and get cut, or I should go somewhere else. So, after long talks and prayers with my family, it was scattered for the summer after my freshman year, not knowing what to do, really confused, thought about quitting, kind of almost did quit, to be completely honest and transparent, not because I didn't love the game, but because I thought my opportunity had been completely sucked away from me. And after I ended up entering the portal and, a lot of praying and a lot of, just trust in God. And thankfully, the coach that I loved the most in pretty much any time of my career, Coach Scott Loizo, who coached at Penn State as an assistant on the staff, took the job at Dayton. So that's how I ended up at Dayton. So that's kind of a long-winded answer of how I ended up there. And then had a good year there. And then after he took the job here at Duke, I decided that was the best move for me. So that was a long-winded answer of my career. If there's anything you want me to elaborate with that, I can. But that's as clean as I could tell the story.
Yeah, that's great. So you went through a huge development phase, like you mentioned. That first year at Penn State was really tough, had to hit the portal, ended up at Dayton. And we all know, the whole country had eyes on you last year. You put up video game numbers at Dayton. So really talk about that mental switch, because that's a really tough thing to do, especially on the verge of quitting, not sure where you're going to be. And then all of a sudden you're knocking on the door of one of the best players in the country in 2025. So talk through kind of that mental switch and some physical development too. I mean, your numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, so a lot of it was actually that mental switch that you said. I thought that, going into Dayton, I had a lot of good physical capabilities. That wasn't the concern for me. It was kind of that mental game. It's like, where do I fit into a team? How do I fit into this sport? Like, I love this sport, but where do I find my place? Where do I fit in? Because for a little bit there, I was like, this game's just rejecting me. Like, I can't find a place in this game. But, I started doing a lot of, kind of internal reflection, did a lot of things that provide me a lot of help. I spent a lot of time meditating and praying. My faith played such a huge role in that. And then ultimately, I had just great people around me at Dayton. I had my Coach Scott Loizo. I had teammates from Penn State that transferred with me that pushed me to be better. And I ended up kind of developing a mindset where it's like, okay, I almost had everything taken away from me. Everything was gone. And now I'm on my last life here. So that was kind of the mindset I adopted, this kind of killer mindset where I'm just going to go in and I'm going to go get what I need to go get.
I love it. So when you're going from Dayton to now Duke, and Coach Loizo jumps over now with the Coach Muscara regime there now at Duke, Chris Pollard really built up that program, knocking on the door of Omaha the last couple of years. Was that kind of a slam dunk for you? Like you just knew, you saw that happen, you knew Duke was the spot, or was there any holdback there?
So in my heart, I knew it was the case. I did enter the portal, and I kind of left my phone open to discussion. My parents told me that was the best move to kind of, one, let myself enjoy some of the things that I worked really hard for, and two, just to keep my options open and see what's out there and just experience it. Because I never truly got a really true, good, rich recruiting process. But in my heart, I knew I was going to end up with Coach Loizo. So after getting offered, by a lot of teams and having a lot of opportunity, and certainly a lot of external factors come into play. So, money, location, there's so many things that you look at. I kind of boiled it down as to what's the most important thing to me. And that's being around people I could trust and people that are going to make me better. And that's where I ultimately weighed everything out, and it kept coming back to Duke for me. And this fall has only proved that, being around these guys. It made me so much more confident in my decision, and I truly believe that this was the best decision I could have made, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, and you talk about some of those values that, mean the absolute world to you, and it seems like Duke is the great spot. So just talk us through, like, what is it like being on that team, being in that new culture, that locker room, and what are you looking forward coming this spring?
Yeah, so I don't really know how it was before I came here. It's a lot of new guys, so it's a lot of scrappy dudes. We have a ton of transfers, a ton of guys from kind of lower level schools, but a lot of success that's funneled into the program. A lot of really good players, Cider Cannon, Aiden Zorn. You got Tyler Albright returning. So these are guys that have had a ton of success, and it's all in location. Like, there's a lot of good success here, and I don't want that to be lost, that, I'm around phenomenal players and unbelievable coaches. So it's really not like, it might be easy to be like, okay, well, Duke doesn't have these guys returning. No, we have a lot of good stuff, and I'm learning so much here. So it's just an energetic environment. It's fun. Everyone looks forward to coming to the field, and everyone's super bought into what we're doing. And it's not that fake buy-in that you see these programs having. It's like, oh, we're all pushing for the same thing. No, we all actually love going to the field. And we actually love spending time with each other, and we love our coaching staff. That's not a thing. 90% of these programs that sell that's not happening. So we're all pulling in the same direction. We all truly care about each other and care about the goal, and we're working really hard, and we're just flat out working really hard.
I love it. So you talk about a lot of these things that, maybe haven't been experienced that a lot of programs might be lacking in, but what are you looking forward to the most, joining the ACC, playing ACC baseball with this fantastic group of guys?
Yeah, I just want to play the best players. The Atlantic 10, though, it's a good conference, and it's in Division I, and there's a lot of great players to come out of that. I always felt like there was a little more out there for me. So I'm really excited for the competition. That's the main thing I'm excited for, being in the ACC. I could care less about wearing a cool jersey or, being able to tell my friends back at home that I go to a big school. I want to play the best players, because that's what I'm going to have to do, next year when, things shake out as they should, God willing. So that's what I'm most excited for. It's just a huge step in development in terms of competition and learning how to be around the best and really hold your own and find that place.
Yeah. And you talked about a lot of mental switches that happened with you, and, some physical tools in your game. Where do you take the most pride in your game? Offense, defense, is there something specific that you really just take pride in doing really, really well day in and day out?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of things, but something I always say to, I just tell myself mainly, because I don't want to seem like too egotistical to anyone, but I just tell myself I'm always going to hit. So no matter where I am, say my defense is off, this is off, I'm always going to hit. I'm going to put good swings on the ball. I'm going to give myself a chance to compete. And no matter where I go, I can hit any pitching. That's what I tell myself. Now, obviously there's days where you go up to the plate and, you might be better swinging from the other side of the plate because you can't find the ball. And, that's going to happen. It's a game, and no one's perfect. And I'm very far from that. But I always tell myself, Michael, you're always going to hit. You put so much time into hitting. Like, hitting for me is my game. That's what I want to be known as a hitter, an offensive-minded guy. Not that I can't do the other things, but that's kind of where I want to make my living is hitting the ball and impacting the baseball and changing a game with a home run or, grinding out at bats. Just that's kind of where I want my identity to be in this game.
Yeah, well, you certainly did a lot of that last year. So looking forward to watching that trend continue. So you mentioned how much you love the game, how much you love baseball, and you almost had to step away from it. But when you're not on the field, how do you like to, relieve stress, get away from the game, kind of just clear your mind? What do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, so obviously your free time is limited, so you got to spend it wisely. And the one thing I've always loved doing since I was young is lifting weights, whether that's getting in, the weight room for a few extra workouts a week. That's my biggest escape personally, is physical activity. I also, I like boxing. That's something I've done a while. I like to watch fight, watch UFC, watch, professional boxing matches. Those are things I like to do. So, I have some gloves up here that I'll, get a quick workout and move around sometimes, hit the bag, just kind of move around. And I like to do physical things, and I like to move. So I don't watch too much TV. I do spend some time on TikTok, which is not great. Late at night, you just keep scrolling. But, during the day, I try to be away from my bed, be away from my room, and just keep moving, because that's what I like to do. It's kind of my escape.
Love it. So you're new in Durham, but give us some of the best spots that you've found so far in your time there. If we were to, pop in for a game, where are the must hits on a weekend?
Yeah, Durham, man. I haven't learned it too well yet, to be completely honest. Man, that's probably the toughest question you've asked me yet. I'm going to say, there's a great breakfast place. If you get in to Durham early, Elmo's, I actually went there this morning and sat at the diner at the counter. Elmo's is phenomenal, great breakfast. They're not paying me to say that, obviously. I really, really enjoy that. And there's good stuff. There's there's the Durham Bulls Park. If you ever watched the movie Bull Durham, I'm sure you have. If you've ever played baseball, or you could go check out that field. It's pretty historic. There's some cool stuff around the area, like around the field, that you could check out. So that's some cool stuff. And then there's so many good spots to eat. There's good sandwich joints. Seems like there's some decent pizza places too. Not that I'm crazy into that, but there's some good food. I think that's probably what I'd go with, is some good food.
Can't miss with a good diner. So I'm all over that recommendation. So you're an outfielder. So give us your Mount Rushmore of outfielders, just guys that you modeled your game after as a kid, guys that are your favorite, not even a kid, even now, some of your favorite players of all time that played the outfield.
Yeah. Number one, no doubt, Andrew McCutcheon. That's the quickest answer I can give you. Andrew McCutcheon's dead middle. He's my favorite baseball player of all time. There's like 1,000 pictures of me as a kid wearing a Kutch jersey. I went to Kutch baseball camps as a kid just so I could meet him. Just wanted to meet Kutch. I didn't even care what was going on at the camp. So Kutch is one, no doubt. And then this is such a cliche answer, I guess, but I'll go with Trout probably too. I really like how physical he is and how he could just drive a baseball in any part of the field. He's fun to watch. That's got to be on everyone's Mount Rushmore. 3, Roberto Clemente. That's another Pittsburgh legend. I'm from Pittsburgh, and gotta go with Roberto Clemente. And then 4, I'm gonna go with my roommate who's sitting over here, Aiden Zorn. Love his game. I'm gonna go with him. I'll throw him on 4. So 3 Pittsburgh guys, Trout.
Love it.
He's going to me later for saying that, so I had to throw that in there and mess with him.
If there was one MLB pitcher right now that you could face, who would it be? And what's the result of the AB? Are you getting a hitter now?
Damn. All right. I'm gonna go with. This is another cliche answer probably, but Paul Skeens. He's a Pirate, so I'm gonna stick with Pirates here. He also is kind of an arm side run guy, and I like arm side run righties. That's kind of my thing. So I'm gonna take an arm side run righty guy. However, he throws 8 pitches. So am I going to get a hit if he leaves one over the middle? I think so. So I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to take my odds that he leaves one of those splinkers over the middle of the plate, and I drive it the other way or something. So I'm going to say yes.
Both good answers. Both great answers.
If I say no, everyone's going to be like, what?
That is true. All right. I've got one more question for you, wrapping everything up.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for in your first season as a Duke Blue Devil?
Yeah. Thing I'm most excited for, obviously, is just game 1, and it's going to be winning that first game. I love to play. Practice is one thing, fall is one thing, but once February 14th hits, it's that's like Christmas Day for me. I think about it pretty much every day. It's just getting on that field and playing the first game. So it's going to be an absolute blast, and winning those games is going to be fun. So I guess winning games is the most excited thing that I see happening this spring, and I think we're going to do that quite frequently. And you see a lot of things on Twitter, like I've been saying earlier, whatever. And maybe I'm totally wrong, and I'm going to jinx us, but I have a lot of confidence that we can win a lot of games. And I've never been to a regional, and I certainly never hosted a regional, so I'm excited to do that if that's if God wills that in our season.
I love it. Well, Michael, thank you for jumping on, taking some time to talk with us. Super stoked to watch you and some Duke baseball this spring, as always. Always excited to watch Duke baseball, and looking forward to this spring. So thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, and I appreciate you always pulling for me in those clips and in those podcasts.
Always,
that doesn't go unnoticed, man, so I appreciate it.
Always, man. Thank you again. We'll see you next time.
All right, we are back. Big thanks to Michael DiMartini for joining the show. Will, you got any thoughts on that interview?
Man, that was such a fun one. He's been a guy that I've kind of been in contact with since pretty much the beginning of last season when he was at Dayton and really broke out, and quite honestly was one of the best players statistically in the entire country, but a really down-to-earth player. He absolutely loves that culture, and he loves that program more than anything, and it's so much fun to see him take that next step. And it's a team that I'm always going to root for, Duke, because I have a very soft spot for that team, and he's a guy that's really easy to root for. So I was super stoked to actually get to sit down and talk with him, and big thanks to him and that program as well. I can't wait to watch him.
Yeah, love it. We're going to finish off our last 6 days of Christmas here. We're not going to cover all 6, all 7, all 8 the things we chose. We'll go through the list, and then everybody will kind of pick one that they want to cover. So for day 6, we're doing 6 coaches rising. So these are coaches that we think are making the next level, might be the next big guy to get the SEC job offer, those kind of things. So we put Skylar Meade of Troy on here, Dan Fitzgerald of Kansas, Nolan Kane, associate head coach, Texas, Rob Vaughn, head coach at Alabama, Josh Elander, the new head coach at the University of Tennessee, and Jim Penders out of UConn. Mark, who do you want to take here? Who's the guy?
I mean, we had conversations with 3 of these coaches this offseason just because they're so terrific. But, I look at a guy who's not in the SEC right now and a guy who had a tremendous season last year in Dan Fitzgerald, right? There's a lot of people that thought maybe he's the next guy who's going to take one of these big jobs in the SEC. He loves what he's doing at Kansas. He loves what he's building there. He's all about family and taking care of his players. That team trusts him. That school trusts him. That's no longer a basketball school. This is a baseball school. Did you guys see last year all those fans showing up to those games? I know that they did all the things for the fans, and I know I've talked about Dollar Dog Night and all the fan fun that they had. This is a baseball school. What Dan Fitzgerald is doing is tremendous. I think that he's just building this huge culture down there of this baseball now. And I think what he's doing at Kansas, if somebody were to go out there and figure a way to get him away from Kansas, they're getting a winner immediately.
Yeah. I love Dan Fitzgerald, and I love what that program's doing. I mean, Will, we talked about it all last year about how we're just loving what Big 12 baseball is coming into. It's one of the Power 3 baseball conferences, and there's no doubt about it, and it's part of what Dan Fitzgerald has done with Kansas.
Yep.
Will, who you got? Who are you picking?
I am going to show some mid-major love, as I always do. I'm going to take Skylar Meade here from Troy. Got to sit down with some players from Troy this offseason. Stephen Meyer, one of their outfielders. This team is loaded, but Coach Meade is genuinely one of the best in the entire country at building culture, showing guys the right way to do things. He talks all the time about, doing the boring things consistently, so that way when the big moments come, those guys can continually to perform. Last year, I was pretty adamant. They did get snubbed from the regional. I think he's just going to continue building a program that truly is not a mid-major. We talk about Sun Belt all the time, how it's not really a mid-major conference. But then within that, there are certain sections, right? Troy is one of those teams that never feels like a mid-major. The park feel, the environment, the team, the culture that Coach Meade is building. He's one of those coaches that is very quickly rising to the top of people's lists when they talk about the top coaches in college baseball.
Yeah, and every opening that we saw this offseason, like Duke, Virginia, Mississippi State, Skylar Meade's name was mentioned in every single article. So it's like, it feels like it's a matter not if, but when Skylar Meade will get an offer to be an SEC coach or be an ACC coach. Like, he's going to get a Power 5 program. And I mean, he loves what he's building at Troy. When Mark and I sat down with him, like, he loves that place. So I think it's going to be a really tough move for him if he ever does get that offer in the future. But like, he's on the rise for sure.
Yeah. I mean, 12 straight winning weekends last year. And then he goes out there and it's like, Troy's ranked 3 years in a row. At some point, they're ranked in the polls. What he's building is amazing at Troy.
Yeah. I want to talk about Rob Vaughn out of Alabama, because this is a guy that I know he's in the SEC already. So you're like, oh, he's already risen because he's at an SEC school. But every time there's like conversations about like Mississippi State job opening or Texas A&M, like the big SEC schools, you hear Rob Vaughn's name mentioned. This is the guy who completely turned the Maryland program around, made them one of the best college baseball programs. They've kind of taken a little bit of step back, but like, he absolutely got that school to a place where they were hosting their first ever regional. Tons of talent. He had Matt Shaw, who was a first rounder, come out of there. Goes to Alabama, first 2 years, basically hits the ground running. They're winning baseball games. They're winning 40 games a year. And I think the thing I love about him is just like the way when we interviewed him, he just talks about his players. Like, you can tell that like he cares more about the players and the developing those players as much as he cares about winning on the field. And I think that's something that's kind of resonated. Everybody we've talked to outside of Alabama too have talked about like our interactions with Rob Vaughn. You feel like he's like a best friend just from having a conversation with him. So I really wanted to highlight him because I think what he's doing at Alabama has just been awesome.
Yeah, look no further than draft picks, right? You go, when was the last time you thought Alabama was going to produce all these draft picks in the classes that he has coming out again this year? What he's done is tremendous, and he builds talent. He goes and finds his guys, and he builds this family around him and says, we're going to get really good baseball players that really care about each other and care about the community, and that's what he's done. It's outstanding what he's built there at Alabama in a short time.
Yep. We're going to move to day 7. So 7 transfer steals. So this used to be number 2. And then I was like, I can't think of 7 weekend series. So we're going to switch weekend series and put that too. We got Henry Ford, Tennessee, Ryan Zuckerman, who we talked about already, Georgia Tech, Alex Sosa, Miami, Evan Blanco, Tennessee, Caden Aoki, Georgia, Drew Whalen, Auburn, and then Carson Tinney, Texas. Will, Who we going with here first?
I'm going to talk about Caden Aoki again. One of my front runners.
We already got the clip of Caden Aoki.
All right, fine.
Just kidding. No.
We'll go to Drew Whalen from Auburn because I'm also really excited about that fit as well. That Western Kentucky pitching staff last year was just ridiculous. And while they did get purged a little bit in the portal in point with Whalen heading to Auburn, he's a guy that I think can light up the SEC. I'm really excited to watch him. Pitches a little bit differently, throws a lot of strikes, has really good stuff, and really I think is going to develop into a power arm. And quite frankly, Auburn's kind of holdback the last couple of years has been the pitching, right? That team has always mashed the last handful of years and just have a little bit of a stopgap in the pitching department. And I think Drew Whalen is going to slot in. Don't know if he's going to be their Friday night guy, but I think it would be easy to see him falling into that role at some point this season. I really like the way the stuff plays, and he put together a really, really impressive season with the Hilltoppers last year.
Love it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Mark, who we going with?
Oh, I have to go with my dude, Alex Sosa at Miami, right? Like, I was so high on this kid as a freshman and as a sophomore. He had 2 really good seasons at NC State. NC State was sad to lose him, but the opportunity to be an everyday player and starter there behind the dish at University of Miami is just something you can't compete with. JT Arteaga already said, no matter what, if he's going to catch or he's DHing, he's going to be in the lineup every day. He's that kind of hitter for us. And now you can bolster him in that lineup that could be one of the top 5 hitting lineups in the country now, added on to what they had for a pitching staff last year. Alex Sosa is a game changer, and he comes in with this experience. He's going to come in with this leadership and kind of help guide this Miami team into the season. I can't wait for him. One of my favorite college baseball players to watch.
I love it. That's a guy I was actually going to pick too, because I think no one talked about him in the portal, right? I feel like he transferred there, kind of went under the radar, and I'm like, that's a massive get for Miami, and no one was talking about it. And it's just like he absolutely mashed for NC State, and he, like you said, he's a stud behind the dish. Like, I love that. Yeah. Guy I'm going with, I wanted to go with one of the Virginia guys, but I'm going to go with Evan Blanco. Had a really, really rough year last year when he was coming back from injury. So last year he posted 6.23, 36 Ks, 39 innings. But the year before that, man, he was Virginia's Friday night ace. Went 8-3, 3.62 ERA, 99 Ks and 99 in the third innings. Like, he was the dude that you could give the ball every Friday and you knew you were going to have a chance to win a ball game. And the reports coming out this fall out of Tennessee is that stuff's back. Like, he's looking like his old self from 2024. We talked about Tennessee, a pitching staff that struggled last year, loses Liam Doyle. They lose Marcus Phillips. Like, they need dudes to step up in the rotation. And I think Evan Blanco's that guy that if he can stay healthy, be on that mound every Friday, like, Tennessee's got a chance to make an Omaha run under their new head coach, Josh Elander. And so I think Blanco's going to play a huge role for them. I'm really excited to see him back on the mound.
If there was ever a plug-and-play type ace, that's him, right? Like, you're going, okay, had a down season last year, dealt with injuries, wasn't Virginia's season overall, right? They just had so many issues. But if you look back at his freshman season, my goodness, man, this guy could be an all SEC, all American type caliber guy on Friday nights. So I like that pick.
Yep. Now we're going to stick with pitching, and we're going to go to day 8 here. 8 aces shoving. So we got a fun list here. It's going to be hard to pick one. I got Cam Fluke out of Coastal Carolina, Liam Peterson out of Florida, Jackson Florida out of UCSB, Ryan Lynch out of North Carolina, Joey Volchko out of Georgia, Aiden Knack out of Clemson, Tommy Lepore out of TCU. I wonder who put that one in there. And then Jack Oman out of Yale. Will, are we going Tommy Lepore?
I'm not. I'm actually going to go with the other guy I put on this list, and it's Aiden Knack out of Clemson.
I like
really
it.
Has one of the best changeups that I've ever seen. Ridiculous. He has a really deceptive arm action. He's 14-2 over 2 seasons at Clemson. He's thrown almost 90 innings in his first 2 seasons. The ERA last year was a little bit higher than the year before at 4.18. Honestly, he just got hurt a little bit more by extra base hits, and it just felt like he ran into some weird luck. But the stuff is always going to play. 218 career strikeouts over 173 innings. He's only going to get better. I think he's going to get back. I don't even want to say to his freshman. I don't even want to say it was a sophomore slump last year. He went 9-1 in 16 starts last year. Yeah. He's going to dominate again. I just think we're going to see him take that extra step and really, really dominate. You're not going to see those weird games where he gives up 5 or 6, especially early on in the season last year in those early tournaments. He got hit around a little bit and gave up a handful of runs when it felt like the stuff was just kind of missing over the heart of the plate. So I'm really anticipating another big step, and I can't wait to watch him on Friday nights in the ACC.
I love that pick. We got to see him in the Shriners Showdown, and he was awesome. Like, just absolute diabolical on the mound as well. Like, attitudes there. Like that South Carolina series when he struck out his old teammate or something like that, and he just did that walk off the mound. I love Aiden Knack. Mark, who do you got?
I'm going to go with a guy that I don't think enough people are talking about yet, and it might be because he was shadowed by Brimner last year. Jackson Flora. This guy has the potential to be a high first-round draft pick. So we all know the fastball's there. Over 100 miles an hour, he can bring it. The thing is, he got hit around a little bit last year because he had to throw fastballs in the zone a lot more than he wanted to. He was a lot more percentage fastball. He really worked this summer, working on slider and changeup and getting 2 more off-speed pitches that he can throw for strikes. He had them. They moved a lot last year. He couldn't throw them for strikes, so teams just started leaning off of him and not laying into those breaking pitches. If he throws those for strikes, this is a guy that could have a sub-2 ERA out here in the Big West and really dominate for UCSB. I think that Jackson Flora might be a guy that we turn around and say, boy, he might have been a better season than what Brimner did and getting drafted so high by the Angels already.
I love it. Love that pick. I really wanted to go Ryan Lynch here, but I'm going to go because I can't help myself here. I'm going to go Cam Flukie. Hard not to talk about Cam Flukie. He's coming in at number 6 on our college board. Just watching him in Omaha last year and what he did to that LSU lineup, I know they didn't win the game, but it wasn't Cam Flukie's fault. Like, it was 98-99 with a ton of ride that entire game. The changeup was disgusting. The slider was disgusting. The curveball was disgusting. It was just absolutely just diabolical what was coming out. Like someone was sitting next to me with a TrackMan next to me. It just everything spin rates, absurd. Just everything that comes out of his arsenal. And I'm speaking into existence because I want him to get drafted by the Royals at number 6. So Cam Flukie, future Royal, starting pitcher 1 is the upside there at the next level. When Will and I were texting offline, like, I don't think we've seen an arm like this since Chase Burns. And I think he's up there in that kind of category. Like, Paul Skeens is on a different level. No one will ever be at a Paul Skeens level, but he's up there with a Chase Burns to me.
You can tell when you talk to guys that played him last year in the postseason, and you talk to some of these hitters, and they go, he was the most unhittable guy I saw all season. And that's when Jacob Morrison was on the mound also for that Coastal Carolina team. They go, Cam Flukie was the most unhittable pitcher when he was on. Unhittable. You could not put his stuff in play, couldn't barrel it up. Like, even the runs that got scored off him, there was very little hard contact hit off him. It was tremendous last year, and he's only gotten better this offseason, they say.
Yep. Yeah, and you have to look at that jump he made from freshman to sophomore year. And the stuff has always been there, but the issue was throwing strikes consistently. And that Coastal Carolina pitching lab has pretty much transformed guys into quote unquote strike throwers. But he just happens to have 1-1 stuff. So it's just one of those things that it just plays, and it's unbelievable watching him pitch.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now we're going to go to Day 9 draft risers. So we got Logan Hughes out of Texas Tech, Aiden Robbins out of Texas, Maddox Maloney out of Oregon, Brady Ballinger out of Kansas, Mulavai Lavu out of UCLA, Jack Natili out of Cincinnati, Owen Kremkowski out of Arizona, Ace Reese out of Mississippi State, Ethan Kleinschmidt out of Oregon State. I'm going to screw up somebody's name. This is too many names to read off at some point for someone who's really bad with names. Mark, who are we going with here? We got a couple West Coast guys on here.
Yeah, we do. I love Ethan. I think that he's going to rise the boards. But what I really want to talk about is the production that Maddox Maloney has had over 2 seasons in Eugene. I don't know if enough people have watched him play shortstop. He's a very good defensive shortstop also. He's a 5-tool guy. He's got speed. He actually outdueled Rock in that series down there in Eugene last season. He outplayed him. And this is a guy we're talking about being the 1-1. Maddox Maloney is every bit of the leader, every bit of the player, and he's going to lead this Oregon Duck team. He might have 25 home runs this year. He's going to hit 350 again probably. He might lead them in every offensive category. And he plays a dang good shortstop, and he leads this team that could be one of the top 5 fielding teams in the country. I really like what Maddox Maloney brings, and I think that he might be flying under the radar just because of where he's at on the West Coast and in Eugene. But what Mark Walzakowski has done with this kid, I think you're just going to see him rise all season long. There's not going to be any tumble. This kid's just going to keep rising.
I love it. Will, who we got?
I'm going to stick on the West Coast here and go with UCLA first baseman Molovai Levu. He is like the underrated, under the radar guy in this lineup. Mark has said how many returners they bring back, but holy cow, was he productive last year. 85 RBIs last season. He's just the definition of a true gap-to-gap hitter, not necessarily your big bruising first baseman that's going to hit 20, 25 home runs, but not out of the question to see him go 15 doubles, 20 doubles with 15 bombs next year. And he might be pushing 100 RBIs in that lineup. That lineup is only going to get better, like we've talked about in the development. They've all been together. I mean, he put up a 911 OPS last season. He's an absolute stud. And I just think people are going to start seeing that hit tool and what it can be and tap into a little bit more power. And I think he's going to fly up some draft boards.
I love that pick. And I think you've talked about it on past podcasts. And he just talked about it a little bit now too, but like everyone's not talking about him because of Rock, right? And he mashed baseballs last year. It was insane. Guy I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give the Cincinnati Bearcats some love here and go with Jack Antilli. It's a dude who hit slash 338, 451, 556 with a 1006 OPS, 14 doubles, 9 home runs, 53 RBIs. Goes to the Cape this year, drops 6 home runs, 24 RBIs in 37 games while he's in the Cape. It's just impressive bat. I think you don't get this kind of bat behind the dish often. He's tall, he's physical behind the plate, he's got a power oriented to all fields. I just really like what Jack Antilli brings to the game, and he catches the game really well. He's got a strong arm behind the dish. There's some issues there kind of with receiving that need to get improved and some blocking, but he's been making those improvements. We interviewed Jordan Bichelle, the Cincinnati head coach. He just talked about like how he does such a great job leading that pitching staff. And that's a guy you want behind the dish. And this is a guy that's in our top 50 for a reason out of the college prospects. And I think he's a guy who's going to continue to rise up the board this year if he has another big year. Just a lot of fun to watch. And I think you got the Bearcats have 2 guys who could be top 3 rounders, top 5 rounders in the MLB draft this year. Got to watch out for Cincinnati.
Yeah, and a true leader, right? Like everybody in the dugout says, this guy's the leader in the clubhouse. He does all the right things. Coach was just speaking wonderful things about him, and he's gotten better each of the last 2 years. Those are the guys you love to root for and take a look at, because if they keep getting better, trajectory, man.
Yep, love it. Now we're going to 10 lineups raking. We've talked about a lot of these teams already, so we don't have to go too far into depth with this one. But we got LSU, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech, Miami, Ohio State, Dallas Baptist, Hawaii, TCU, Florida State, UCLA. Y'all added some interesting teams in here. Mark, who are we going with?
Okay, a team that not enough people are talking about is Florida State. I don't know what's happened here. We've just decided that since they faltered last year in Corvallis, they were the 9 seed, Oregon State was the 8 seed, that somehow they fell off all this. Yeah, they lost Jamie Arnold. They keep a ton of talent there. And the lineup just Chase Williams returns. You got, like we already said, Miles Bailey coming back. Braden Dowd transferring in from USC is going to give them a ton of speed in the top of that lineup there. And then you go look out there and go, Hunter Carnesby on the dish. He's going to rise up some draft boards. He's another guy that we haven't talked about enough hitting-wise. He could hit 350 with 20 home runs. I really, really like what they have done offensively. I think that they filled out this lineup. I really think that they are going to be a difference maker on the offensive side more because last year's pitching was overshadowed. This year, I think the offense takes a step forward, and you're just going to go, that might be the best offense in the ACC.
No, I love that pick. Will, who we got? There's a lot of your teams down here.
There is, but I'm going to go with the one that I personally added just because I love the culture that's being built there. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes. Justin Hare comes in from Campbell. His kind of MO has always just been building teams that mash, and they bring back a lot of talent from last year that hit really, really well. Like Lee Ellis is back, and if you haven't seen any fall tape of Dane Harvey, go watch that kid hit because he hits nukes, and he is going to hit nukes in the Big Ten this season. And the pitching last year, I know they gave up a ton of runs, but this team will absolutely score a lot of runs this season. And it's a really fun lineup to watch. It was kind of built the same way at Campbell, the way that he would structure those teams and really get after it on the lineups. And Ohio State is kind of turning into that offensive powerhouse. So I'm really excited to watch this lineup hit this year.
I love it. I'm going to cheat and go easy and just say Georgia Tech. Because that lineup's stupid. Like you can't have 10 lineups raking and not talk about Georgia Tech. I know we've already hit it out ad nauseum, but like you got so much talent. Drew Burris, Alex Hernandez, Jaron Avincula, like Von Lackey, the list goes on. Like they're going to be the best smashers in the ACC, I feel like, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I don't have really a lot to add there, but I just gotta mention Georgia Tech one more time.
Yeah.
Day 11, so 11 teams chaotic. These are teams that we think that can like shock the world, cause chaos throughout the 2026 college baseball season. I love the names on this list. We got Arizona State, Washington, San Diego State, NC State, Clemson, Yale, Alabama, Tulane, Duke, Troy, and Kentucky. Will, who we got? Who we going with?
I am going to stick in North Carolina and go with the Duke Blue Devils. Under a new regime, bring in a ton of really quality talent like Michael DiMartini, who we spoke with earlier. They've got Cider Cannon, who they brought in. Tyler Albright is back from last year and the couple of years before that. It's a team that has a really interesting mix of veterans and new guys. Jake Lambden, I think, is going to play a really big piece in that as well. I think it's just going to be a really fun team. And 2 years ago, we saw an incredible Duke team. And it's one of those teams that I still question how they didn't get to Omaha when you had guys like Jonathan Santucci on the mound and Ben Miller at third base. And that team was unbelievably fun. And I think we're going to get back to that style of Duke baseball. And I think this year is one of those opportunities where they could make a lot of noise in the ACC, where it feels like nobody is talking about them because a lot of the faces are new, especially on the coach's side.
Yeah, I love that pick. And I think that's always the worry, right? When you have a coaching change, same things at Virginia, like Pollard. Yeah, he brought AJ Gracia, but you still worry about all the guys who left Virginia to go to Mississippi State. So yeah, when you have that coaching change, but if Duke has a down year, which I don't think they will, Moose is the guy who's going to bring that program to keep it right where it was and right where Pollard left off. So like, I'm not even, like you said, worried about Duke this year. Like, I think they're going to be good. He was able to, like you said, get in a bunch of talent. And they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. Mark, who you got?
You know, I'm going with a team that I've already visited this fall in the Washington Huskies. Now, what Coach Smith has been building up there pretty quietly. Like last year, they had some ups and downs. They had a lot of injuries last year that kind of played into some of their losses in Big Ten play. But when they were good, this team hit 300. This is a very good baseball team overall. And you're looking at guys like Kesson Taggart, who I saw hit a ball that I'm pretty sure hasn't come down yet in the fall. He's 6'5", 225, smooth swing, nice, easy. Jackson Hotchkiss was a freshman that we were all looking at last year. Outfielder, he's 6'5", like moves around the ballpark, can hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's a very good outfielder. I think that this team takes some strides forward in this second year with Coach Eddie Smith that are going to surprise a lot of people, and they could be right there near the top of the Big Ten with their schedule.
I love that. I love that pick. I want to see Huskies baseball back to good, because I was hopeful when Jason Kelly went there and took over the program, but he got an offer he couldn't refuse at A&M, and was worried about that program. But like you said, Eddie Smith did a great job with Utah Valley, turned that program around, and I'm hoping he can do the same in Washington. I'm going to go and give the Tulane Green Wave some love here. This is a team that had the 16th best transfer portal class. I was looking at their list. They got like 20 dudes that they brought into campus. You got Jack Frankel out of Liberty, Owen Geis out of Long Beach State, Ty Wood out of New Mexico, Jack Braff out of Tennessee Tech, Jake Toperick out of Wagner, Trent Leolis out of Northwestern. Like, the list goes on. And we interviewed Jay Ullman, and this is a team that he's just been able to bring back. He talked about how he wants, like, all the Tulane Green Wave fans, they want to get back to the days where that team was like making runs for Omaha and things like that. And he's had 30-plus win seasons every year. I think they won 33 games last year. They won the conference tournament, I believe. Or no, I can't remember. They won
it 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, won the conference tournament 2 years in a row. Like, this is a team that I think can be one of the better mid-majors in all of college baseball. Jay Ullman's got the mentality. He's got the players back. He's a big players first coach. Like, guys want to go play for him. Every guy you see that comes out of that program talks. They don't just care about having me there to win games. They want to develop me as a player. And it shows by the draft too. They've had tons of guys taken out of the draft. The Royals, I think, took 2 of them this year. So like, he's getting big league talent to come through the system. And I love Tulane.
Yeah, I saw them 2 years ago in Corvallis Regional, and it was my first time really getting to know Jay. I'm like, man, this is a guy that's going to win some ball games and put them in some important ball games the next few years. Like, this Tulane program is going to turn it all the way around and get right back to where they were at the top of the baseball landscape.
Yeah. All right, now we're going into 12 wishes for the season. We got Honolulu Regional on there, mid-majors in Omaha, Arizona State back to prominence, college game day for baseball, which we can get into that, how we're going to try to launch that, increased viewership of the game, more ESPN squeeze play with Mike Rooney, above 40 degrees at Round Rock, more dollar dog nights, 40-man rosters in 27, Diet Mountain Dew sponsors, more hats for the hat wall, and then everyone to have a safe, healthy, and happy holidays. We got a lot to get into here, Mark. It seems like a lot of these are yours, so I'm gonna let you kick off some of your wishes here.
Dollar Dog Days is awesome. More ballparks need to do this. Listen, I don't care if you lose money on hot dogs. Figure it out. It brings fans in. They just love it. They're going to take pictures. They're going to do all the fun stuff. It's going to bring families. I love going to these games. You know how much I love hot dogs. I go and sponsor some of these dog nights because I really care about the game of baseball. I think Dollar Dog Night's awesome. Kentucky, if they or Kansas, if they do it again, I already told Fitz I'm going to try to make the trip down there and do that in person. I think it's a really important thing to connect to your fans, and even in today's society, it's tough. Affordability is tough. It's one of those buzzwords we talk about all the time. Dollar Dog Nights brings people, puts butts in seats. It's going to be fun. It's going to fill up your stands. Not everybody has to do it, but I think if everybody did do a Dollar Dog Night in their season, they're going to be better off. And that's a big passion. I think that's going to be awesome for the college fan base.
Dollar dog night, dollar beer night. Just throw it in.
Love it.
Get people crazy.
Love it. Get excited about college baseball, man. You can do this. The schools can do this. It's got to come from them. Promote this stuff. One day a year of those games, it's not going to kill you, and it's going to be awesome.
Love it. Will, what's your one of your 12 wishes for the season?
I am going to go with number one, the one I put in there, the Honolulu Regional.
Yeah, buddy.
It felt like we were just knocking on the door of it last year. The Bows return a lot of really high-quality talent with Elijah Ikes holding down shortstop. Ben Ziegler-Namola is back. Coach Zuniga is one of the best in the entire country at developing pitchers. You don't see a lot of power stuff out of their staff, but holy cow, can those kids pitch. I mean, you see a guy like Liam O'Brien, who's probably one of their top velo guys, and he just pitches the ball like none other. And you got so much fun talent. That stadium is absolutely electric on Friday, Saturday, and technically Saturday, Sunday, and Monday mornings if you're where I live. And truly some of the most fun baseball to watch. If you don't tune in on ESPN Plus, please do. They have an excellent commentating crew. It's so much fun. It's an awesome environment. It's probably number one on my bucket list for college baseball stadiums. So what better place to go see them than at a regional?
I've been each of the last 3 years, buddy. The Les does not let you down. It is unbelievable. 5,000 fans all there for one thing. They don't have a pro team on the island, guys.
No.
So they really dig into these college sports, and it is tremendous. And then after they beat you, they feed you and they take care of you, and it's really nice.
Yep.
And then you go about your business.
Yeah, when I was working for Nevada baseball, we traveled to Hawaii because they were in the WAC at the time, and all we had to do was go there, win 2 out of 3. And we outright WAC champions. Lost 2 out of 3. The fans were nuts. Like all the games were packed. I was sitting behind home plate with a radar gun, just like by myself as the only person in the Nevada thing. It was just absolutely insane atmosphere. And hey, they fans show up. Like they care about that team. And it's like a minor league. It's like a big minor league ballpark. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's electric. Last thing I'll have us talk about on the wishes, Mark, is to give us a little preview of what you're planning to do with College Baseball Live, our version of a college game day for baseball.
Yeah, so fans that have followed me for a long time, you know that I've been doing this for 3-4 seasons now, doing this Saturday morning show. We're going to step it up. It's going to be even better. We're going to come out to you and try to be live at a few locations this year. So we're going to come out to your ballpark, hopefully. Come out and see us live. Come ask the questions. What we're going to do is we're going to hopefully have producers in the background so we can answer some questions live for you guys. We're trying to have a Q&A segment every single week. We're going to talk about 20 of the game's best matchup every single weekend. I know that we're going to have some different folks on. It's going to be great, guys, and it's going to be live. Again, Saturday mornings, we're going to come live to you, get you all set up for the rest of the weekend. I can't wait. I think what we've done is set this thing up to be super productive, and hopefully you all see us at some of your ballparks all across the country.
Yeah, and if we can't get to the ballparks, we're doing it virtual, so we will still be live.
We'll be live.
Going to happen.
Yeah, it might be here in front of the hat wall, but we'll be live.
Yeah. Now that does it for us, I think, on the college baseball show. But we have tons of stuff coming your way. We have so many college coach interviews in the hopper that we're going to get out for season previews of some of your favorite teams. We got conference previews coming up. We're going to start with mid-majors. We're doing it by region of the country, so we're going to go through some of the top mid-majors in each region. We're going to have every conference, and yes, we're putting the Sun Belt in a Power 5, so we're going to have conference previews for you, where we're selecting all conference teams, potential preseason players of the year. We're going to be doing articles followed by podcasts, which Mark will be hosting the conference preview podcast. So we got tons of stuff coming your way for the season. When the season starts, we'll have weekly shows. So we'll have Mondays to go over the new top 25 updates. We'll have Twitter Spaces on Thursday, another great idea that Mark is bringing to us as well. And we're going to have the live show on Saturday. So 3 times a week, tons of content coming. We're excited for the season, and we can't appreciate you all enough for following along. Guys, Will, you got anything else before we wrap up?
Nothing. I'm fired up for it. You got me so excited with that.
I love
I
it.
can't wait to see everybody 3 times a week. Let's go. This is gonna be awesome, man.
You guys are gonna be so sick of me by the end of this.
Yeah. You got to read all our written words last year. Now you're just going to listen to us talk for 3 times a week. It's going to be great. I love it. Well, until next time, y'all, we'll see you.